Biggest loser. Heath, got that?
How about most surprising to be called a loser?
Okay.
Most surprising.
It was great that Alvin Kamara scored a touchdown. My biggest fear about Kellen Moore looked entirely true in this game. 46 pass attempts for Spencer Rattler, and Alvin Kamara had 2 targets, and they had multiple chasing the score in the fourth quarter drives when defenses drop back and play defense or play prevent, and Kamara generally will have like 3 catches a drive on those. He had 1 on the 2 drives combined. He wasn't even like dominating the rush attempts. Kendre Miller and Devin Neal had 7 to his 11. He scored a touchdown. That was really the only good thing about Alvin Kamara's day. And I'm a little bit worried. And part of the problem was, credit to Kellen Moore, he runs a pretty good offense at getting the ball out quick to wide receivers. He has guys open early in the routes, and you don't have to just dump it off to Kamara because nobody's open. But that's a big problem for Alvin Kamara moving forward. So yes, 13 PPR fantasy points. It's fine. Probably about the same as Kyron Williams, but I'm scared.
Yeah, I thought about that when I saw his targets. I was like, damn, this could be an amazing call by Heath. He did play, the vast majority of the snaps, which is good. But how about, would you rather have Alvin Kamara or Breece Hall right now?
Breece Hall.
I think I'm still going to say Kamara, and I'm going to hope that this game was an outlier.
Yeah, 7 touches, 5
Dylan
yards.
Sampson's so much better than him.
Dylan Sampson is so much better than him. We'll see what happens next week if Judkins is able to play. But Sampson looked fantastic in the passing game. Look, that's the role that was going to be the most important because they're going to be trailing most games. And this was a competitive game, actually for them. But I think just Sampson hopefully will stay in that role, and Jerome Ford just becomes the third option. But it was a little frustrating that he didn't get the goal line opportunity. It was a little frustrating that he wasn't involved really more than just a token player in this outing.
He led the Browns in snaps, played 52% of the snaps. You were probably looking for a higher number than that. He also had 11 of 16 snaps on third downs. He had 3 of 5 snaps inside the 5. He just didn't have the goal line carries. He gave you most of what you were looking for in terms of role. It's just what ended up happening in the game was Dylan Sampson was getting schemed up for targets on some third downs, but also some non-third downs. And it just worked out where he had 8 catches. It was kind of a lucky break for anybody that started Sampson. Not that there were many people who did that.
Well, Sampson also outcarried him 2-1.
Samson had 12 carries. So Ford actually did have 2 goal line carries. He didn't get in. And then the next 2 went to who the heck scored?
Raheem Sanders, Rocket Sanders.
Yeah, who scored a touchdown. And so I mean, Ford is the least interesting of them now, right? Of the 3.
By far.
Yeah. So you
maybe of the 4.
Yeah, you probably drop Jerome Ford, who is 81% rostered. Sampson had 8 catches, only 1 of them on third down. He played only 4 third down snaps. So obviously we'll see if Judkins, I think it seems like they're leaning toward Judkins going to be playing next week at Baltimore.
Against Baltimore. So I don't know if we want to start
eligible to play.
I think if I had to start one of them, I'd probably start Sampson over Judkins next week if he plays.
Sure,
I would as well.
All right, I want to nominate a loser because I feel like I need to talk about him, and I'm sure we've all been there before. You feel good about a player, you recommend him to everyone you know, and then he's Isiah Pacheco, and he has 7 touches and 4.8 PPR fantasy points. Sinking feeling, legitimately. I'm not even being funny here. Just feel horrible about it because I don't think it was just one bad game. I think this is going to end up being a horrible call. He'll obviously be better than this.
Wait a minute. Are you going back to we're talking about Pacheco again?
I haven't talked about him once.
No.
You talked about him this morning.
That is like 30 seconds.
Yeah. That audience, different show.
Everybody wants to hear this.
No, I'm serious. I mean, I think he's one of the biggest losers of the week because there were a lot of guys who had really bad games. I'm not worried about Nico Collins necessarily. I'm not worried about Brian Thomas Jr. I'm worried about Isiah Pacheco. I think first 2 possessions, he comes off the field on second down. Obviously, Kareem Hunt's got his role. This was really bad. So.
I would like to see what the game plan is moving forward because the receiving core is now decimated. So are we back to what we had last year where it was supposed to be Pacheco early in the season, being their lead guy, and they're going to have to rely on their run game a little bit more, especially that their defense doesn't look as good. So I wouldn't necessarily say you're not starting him next week, but I wouldn't say he's somebody that you're dropping.
Oh,
I think
Week 3 against the Giants.
if you want to feel better, the Pacheco's percentages of touches were pretty similar to what I had, but I was much higher on him than where he finished because they're not going to have 10 running back touches carries in a game very often. They'll probably have 20 most weeks, and then he'll have 10 carries.
They didn't lead at any point in the game, so will they have they're not going to be that bad.
No. Well, I hope not. Let's go to Heath's losers now. We'll go to all of our losers. We'll start with Heath's. Ken Walker, who was out-carried by Zach Charbonnet and out-produced by Zach Charbonnet, and Alvin Kamara, who you already talked about. But Walker goes for 10 carries for 20 yards, 3 catches, which was good. Charbonnet, 12 carries, 47 yards, and a touchdown against the Niners.
Walker did at least catch 3 passes for 4 yards. It was absolutely awful. And it wasn't like he was so bad early that they just decided to go to Charbonnet. Like, they were mixing and matching from the very start, and Charbonnet was just better than him in this game. So
Walker
I think
didn't look like himself.
Not at all. So maybe he's not healthy still, and he just tried to push through. But I think you have to go into next week expecting Zach Charbonnet to be the best running back for the Seahawks.
You want the snap breakdown, Adam?
Sure.
Charbonnet played 58% of the snaps to Walker's 40%. This is where it really goes sideways for Walker. 3rd downs, 8 of 10 for Charbonnet. Inside the 5, 2 snaps, both to Charbonnet. And he looked better again.
Third down, I knew. Inside the 5 is, discouraging.
It's not surprising because Charbonnet goes forward and Walker goes side to side.
Yeah. Dave's losers, RJ Harvey. He did have a 50-yard run, but still 6 carries. Dobbins had 16 and only 1 catch for Harvey. He was 57% rostered. And then there's Drake Maye, who gets Miami next week, and then Pittsburgh, and then Carolina. But how about RJ Harvey?
31% of the snaps. Dobbins, 52% of the snaps. How about this? Tyler Bidet, 17% of the snaps, including 6 of 13 on 3rd down, and was their 2-minute running back. A 3-way split in Denver, and Bidet is one of the running backs. It's not what we were hoping for. We got really lucky that we even had that long run by RJ Harvey. He also looks weird with 12 as his jersey number. You're not used to running backs having the teens or preteens in this case as their jersey number. But I thought Dobbins looked good, and I don't think he's done anything to lose any semblance of his playing time moving forward. So this is going to be an annoying timeshare where you hope you start the right Broncos running back from week to week.
I think, look, the rookie running backs in general, we should address, not Genty. Hampton had an amazing role. I guess it's really just Harvey and Henderson right now because Judkins is
Henderson's snap share was not good either.
So it's those 2 guys. And then obviously you got Caleb Johnson, who's not a factor right now. He fumbled. He had like 2 touches and fumbled. But, on this morning's show, I said that over the last 10 years, I've only got 3 running backs who were drafted in round 2 in the NFL draft and got big work in week 1. And I think one of them owes that to an injury. So it was TJ Yeldon and Dalvin Cook. And the third one was Jonathan Taylor. Remember, Marlon Mack got hurt. I think it was Mack, right? Got hurt in week 1. Was it someone else? That just doesn't happen unless it's a first-round rookie. So, I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts? What are your thoughts on Harvey and Henderson right now?
100% you're going to wait on them. If you've got another running back that you could start in place of them, maybe look, they both have mostly favorable matchups next week. I'm not buying the Colts run defense as anything tough, but I'd be more inclined to start Henderson than Harvey because Henderson's playing against the Dolphins.
I agree with Jamie. Buy low.
Henderson at least had 6 catches. He had, Ramondre Stevenson, 7 carries for 15 yards. Henderson, 5 carries for 27 yards. Feels like kind of maybe inevitable there. Jamie, your losers were Jerome Ford and Terry McLaurin. The only thing I'll say about McLaurin, a little bit of bad luck. He had a clear catch that for some reason wasn't overturned. They called it incomplete and it wasn't overturned. But he also should have had a 71-yard touchdown. Jaden Daniels just missed him. With that said, only 4 targets. Those were 2 of the 4 targets in the game, and clearly outperformed by Deebo Samuel. So bad start for McLaurin.
You have another guy that he's got to compete with. That's a pretty talented dude in Deebo Samuel. So this was a concern before the contract situation, and it played itself out. And then Zach Ertz gets a touchdown as well, so he's not going away. And now the run game might be better. So I think McLaurin's going to be fine. I think he'll still be a low end number 2 receiver. But just piggybacking off of the conversations we had about the draft, like this was not what you wanted to see him come out and do. So hopefully it's not going to be a season long thing. I think the timing between Jay Daniels and Terry McLaurin will get better. So, you'll hopefully have a better connection moving forward, but he's a good buy low option, just based on what his role is still and the offense that he plays on. But clearly, for what you were hoping for, this was not what you expected.
How many of the really big underperformers from this week would you, and I'm not talking about, first or second round guys that are so obvious, would you sell Javonte Williams for right now?
Probably almost all of them. I'm giving up Javonte Williams to get one of these underperforming.
To get Pacheco, to get Henderson, to get Harvey, to get McLaurin, to get Calvin Ridley.
All but Pacheco so far.
Yeah.
Pacheco feels like a wash at best.